The Forgotten Child Within, a philosophical reflection on self-compassion. We often hear the phrase, "be kind to yourself," but in the rush of daily life, it becomes easier to forget the deep importance of that advice. We live in an age that demands constant productivity and self-sufficiency. But there's a crucial question we might overlook. How can we truly care for the parts of ourselves that need nurturing and tenderness? The very ones we've learned to overlook. The parts of us that need love and attention just as we would give it to a child in need. In this moment, pause and think. How often do we offer ourselves the same compassion we extend to a friend or loved one? What does it mean to offer compassion to yourself, especially in times when you're facing challenges or struggles? Jung's vision of the inner child. Integration and wholeness. Carl Jung is famous for his exploration of the unconscious mind, but one of his most powerful ideas was that of the inner child. Jung argued that inside every adult is a childlike part of us that remains vulnerable and sensitive to the world. This inner child is not just a fragment of the past, but a living, breathing part of who we are today. Imagine for a moment that you are not alone in your day-to-day life. Throughout everything you do, from work meetings to social interactions, you are always accompanied by a 5-year-old version of yourself. This child is experiencing everything in its simplest, rawest form, full of wonder, fear, and confusion. Jung believed that to truly integrate our unconscious selves, we must acknowledge this inner child, not as a weak or fragile part of us, but as a necessary and vibrant aspect of our identity. This child embodies our most innocent desires, our fears, and our untainted way of seeing the world. It is the part of us that feels joy from small things, yet also experiences great vulnerability. What would it mean if, every day, we paused and considered how that child might feel in our situation? Let's ask ourselves, how would a 5-year-old cope with the pressures of work deadlines? How would they experience the weight of adult expectations? Through Jung's lens, these questions are not just imaginative exercises, they are tools for self-compassion. The adult mind tends to dismiss feelings of fear or insecurity, but the child within, much like Jung described, has a deep need for acknowledgement and care. So what if we treated ourselves with the same kindness we would show a child in distress? What if we gave ourselves permission to feel vulnerable, just like we would allow a child to express their feelings without judgment? Kierkegaard's angst and the struggle for authenticity. Søren Kierkegaard's philosophy centers on the concept of angst, the anxiety that comes from the realization that we are free to choose, but that freedom comes with immense responsibility. In our adult lives, this anxiety can often manifest as stress or a sense of feeling overwhelmed by the choices before us. Yet Kierkegaard did not see this angst as something to avoid. Instead, he viewed it as an essential part of the human condition, a necessary discomfort that pushes us to reflect deeply on the nature of our existence. The existential anxiety Kierkegaard spoke of is not just about abstract concepts, it touches on every part of our lives, especially how we relate to our inner child. Think about it. Every time we face challenges, whether in relationships, work, or personal growth, there is a part of us that is grappling with the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough. But instead of acknowledging that fear, we suppress it. We push forward, telling ourselves that we are beyond these childish anxieties. But what if, instead of trying to bypass this existential angst, we embraced it? What if, instead of shaming our vulnerable selves, we recognized that these feelings are not childish but human? Kierkegaard's notion of authentic living is about accepting the discomfort of our existence, understanding that it is okay to feel overwhelmed or anxious. This is where our true freedom lies. The inner child, Kierkegaard might say, is in fact at the core of our authenticity. If we continually suppress that part of ourselves, afraid of confronting our fears, exhaustion, or vulnerability, we risk losing touch with our most authentic nature. The struggle to integrate our adult self with the fears and desires of our younger self is the struggle for true freedom and self-understanding. Simone de Beauvoir's Ethics of Ambiguity. Reclaiming our freedom. Simone de Beauvoir's philosophy revolves around the concept of freedom within the context of ambiguity. She argued that to be human is to face the inherent uncertainties of life, but it is through our acceptance of this ambiguity that we become truly free. De Beauvoir saw freedom as something we must actively claim, even when faced with difficult choices or painful truths about ourselves. When we think about our inner child, we realize that part of our freedom lies in embracing the uncertainty and emotional complexity that comes with it. The child within us does not see the world through the lens of certainty and control. It is open, vulnerable, and uncertain. And while adulthood often teaches us to hide these traits in the name of strength, de Beauvoir would suggest that true strength lies in allowing ourselves to experience these ambiguities. It is when we acknowledge the ambiguity of our lives and the complexity of our emotional states, our fears, desires, and vulnerabilities, that we can begin to reclaim our freedom. The child within us embodies that freedom. It is the part of us that has not yet been constrained by social norms, expectations, or self-imposed limitations. By welcoming the inner child and giving them the space to feel, to fear, and to question, we are embracing the kind of freedom de Beauvoir spoke of, a freedom that acknowledges the fullness of our human experience. Practical application. How to nurture your inner child. So how can we practically start nurturing the child within us? Let's consider a few ways to reconnect with this part of ourselves. Mindful reflection. Start each day by taking a moment to reflect on how your younger self would feel in your current situation. How would they respond to your stress, your work, your interactions? This isn't about self-pity, it's about offering yourself compassion. Journaling, write a letter to your inner child. What would you say to them? What comfort or encouragement would they need right now? This act of writing can help bridge the gap between your adult and child self, bringing the vulnerability of both into the same space. Physical self-care. Sometimes the best way to show compassion is through physical care. Take time for rest, nourishment, and play. Engage in activities that you used to enjoy as a child, whether it's going for a walk, drawing, or simply sitting in nature. These simple acts allow you to reconnect with the joy and innocence of your younger self. Seek support. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you feel overwhelmed. Just as you would support a child in need, be kind enough to ask others to help you when you need it. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's an opportunity for growth and connection, a journey towards wholeness. We often neglect the child within us, thinking that adulthood requires us to suppress our fears, vulnerabilities, and emotional needs. But, as Jung, Kierkegaard, and de Beauvoir remind us, embracing our inner child is a key to achieving true freedom, authenticity, and self-compassion. By nurturing this vulnerable part of ourselves, we allow for integration, healing, and growth. The child in us may feel anxious, fearful, or lost at times, but it is also full of potential, creativity, and joy. When we allow ourselves to listen to their needs, we open the door to a more compassionate, free, and authentic way of being. So the next time life feels overwhelming, remember, you are not alone. The child in you is with you always. Take a moment to nurture them, to comfort them, and to offer them the care they deserve. Only then can you move forward, whole and free. And if this video helped you, like and subscribe to Think Tangle. It helps us to grow the channel, reaching more people. See you in the next video.